think we've got a problem. I think we're using the word Muslim far too quickly to describe people doing atrocities when they don't represent Muslims any more than I do. And I think we should be using a more accurate word for those people, which I'm going to argue is knobhead. It's a political rally now, don't worry. Could be levels of knobhead. No, I don't have a problem with Muslims in Birmingham at all. Happy to have them. I think they add to our city and to our culture. I think the big problem we have in Birmingham, it's happening around the country, actually. We have a lot of artisan coffee shops.
I enjoy your traffic lights. Just standing there, watching people, obey them. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Because, I mean, we do have traffic lights in Africa, but we don't use them the same way. It's almost like we saw them here and just brought them over just to fit in, you know? People were just like, what are these? These are the brand new traffic lights. What are they for? Ah, just adds atmosphere to the intersection, huh? Look at the colors, look at the colors. Nobody uses them. People here use them. I understand the cars, but I see human beings use... There's no cars, but human beings just stand there looking at the light. Oh, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red. And then you walk and they go, oi, oi, what are you doing? I'm walking. Oh, the man is red, can't go, the man is red. No, I can go. It's just a suggestion, that's all it is. Doesn't mean I can't go, it's just saying I shouldn't go. I'm gonna go. No, don't go, don't go. Don't go. Press the button, press the button. Everyone presses the button. I don't understand why anybody presses the button. You press the button, and then someone else comes in, and they press the button. Have you pressed the button? Yeah, I pressed the button. Well, let me just make sure. Let's make sure. I pressed it 5 times. I also pressed it. Oh, you also 5 times? Yeah, that's 5 times. 5 times the button. 5 times. That button doesn't do anything. I've actually checked. I've stood at traffic lights and waited, and the button doesn't do anything. All the button does is make you more patient. That's all it does. People get there and they go, I'm in a hurry. Okay, that's better now. I press the button. I can wait. People stand there at the traffic lights. I love it. Everyone stands at the traffic lights, and then you just look at one another. Everyone, you see the people on the other side. They look at you, you look at them. No one does anything cool. Like, this is a moment you could chat. You could chat to each other about the weather and stuff. Oh, great weather. Yeah, have you seen the sun? Haven't seen the sun today. Nothing. Everyone just stands there. So what I like to do is, if the moment is right, if the mood is correct, and there's enough people, I try and wait for a moment when there's no traffic. And then I look at the people on the other side, and then I start shouting at them like we're going into battle. I just stand at the front of my side of the sidewalk, and I'll be like, today, we fight for our children! Those who oppose us will feel our pain! And then nobody looks at you because they think you're crazy. Which is better because now it looks like they're part of your army. They just stand there like this. And you just carry on. I try and say the craziest things to see if anyone... Nobody leaves, nobody. I just say the craziest things. Last week, many of us died in the Battle of Oxford Street. But today they will not be so brave. And no one says anything. No one's like, I don't know what's going on, mate, but I'm not part of this. All right, then, thank you. Traffic light beef's not my thing. Nobody says that, nobody. Everyone just stands there with you like an army. Then the other people on the other side, if you do it well enough, they start to doubt themselves. You see them on the other side like, what's going on? You will die! And the light goes green, and then you charge. Ah! And everyone's in a hurry, so they come with you. No one stands back. No one's like, oh, no, let him go first. No, they just go, oh, let's go. Ah!
They say it's hard, you know, bringing kids up is difficult. They say kids these days are influenced by these new hyper-violent computer games. And that's nuts, isn't it? If we'd been influenced by the computer games from our childhood, we'd have to go around going like, beep, beep, beep. It'd be rubbish, wouldn't it? No one would play with that kid with beep, beep. Can I be in your gang? No, you're a bit weird, mate, to be honest. Imagine being influenced by Pac-Man. You'd have to like walk round in a darkened room munching pills and listening to repetitive music. It's been the younger people laughing and clapping, the older ones going, who is this Pac-Man you speak of? It's not one of the rough boys from the estate, is he? There were some rough kids where I live, and they're not being rough, they're just being confusing. You know, you come out of your house, they go, yeah, your mum makes gravy for leopards, innit? Yes, I believe she does. She does a lot of charity work. These are scary kids. Even the dirty old men are scared of these kids. See them turn up in their car, put the window down, like, hello, little boy, do you want a sweet? The kid's like, what sort of sweets have you got? So it best be good if you come on here and trouble me with your sweetie talk, right? You don't want any mojo or drumstick rubbish, you get me? You must have a serious sweetie offer for me, boy. Blokes panic. I was like, well, I've got bonbons. I wasn't sure what to bring, to be honest. Dib-dab there, and then wham-bar. Wham-bar, your sweets are rubbish, man. Shut up. No. Wham-bars used to be big like that. Now they're small, innit? So you're going to have to do better than a wham-bar if you want to see my dick, right? Hey, man, look at your car driving a Saab. You got no pride. Get out, you wham-bar, bitch. Next pervert, please. How many sweets have you got, Sweaty? What do you mean, Neverland? Yeah. But we live in exciting times anyway, you know. It's very exciting being in London, you know. The Olympics. Fantastic. We didn't really want the Olympics till we heard France might get it. The British people are, oh no, all that running and jumping. It's not really for us, is it? When is it? No, I'm busy that week. What? France are going to get it? Bollocks, we'll have it. Only in London will we have to have a poster campaign saying back the bid. No, fuck off, it'll be rubbish. Don't you think that's a bizarre response to that question? Would you like the oldest, most historically significant athletic competition the world has ever known, attracting athletes from every known nation on the face of the planet to come here and perform at the peak of their abilities in the very city where you live? Most British people go, where will we park? You know, because it's all residents round here. There's others going, no, man, the tubes will be packed, you get me? People getting on the underground with, like, javelins and shit. No. Coming in an escalator with a shot put, health and safety, boy. And there's a whole other section of British society going, you what? The Olympics? Let a load of foreigners in? Huh? Once you can run and jump and swim, you let them in, you'll never fucking catch them. Huh? Place will be overrun with Lycra refugees. You're having a laugh, ain't you, mate? They'll peel them little numbers off their jackets. You watch them, they're sneaky. I read about it in the Mail.
But we've moved now. We've moved to a place called Pinner. We only moved to Pinner because the estate agent said to us, he said, oh, Pinner is a lovely part of West London. West London. We get Welsh telly. It's not London, but it is very nice. One of the things I like about where we live is it's very multicultural. I think that's one of the brilliant things about London. I think multiculturalism is something we really have to fight for. Like the school my kids go to, it was very easy to pick a school for my kids because obviously we just picked the one with the highest ceilings. But the school they go to, it's a really nice school and it's very diverse. Like we have a mum's night out once a month and all the mums from the school go and there are women there from every economic background, every race, every religion. And we have a fantastic time, and the Muslim mums drive us home. Tell you what, it is nice. I had an incident the other day, though. I was walking down the street near where I live, and it was one of those sunny days, one of those days that remind some van drivers that women have breasts. You know, one of those. And I was walking down the street, and there was a van drove up and slowed down, and two guys leaned out of the van, and they were in classic kind of leching position. And I knew they weren't going to be looking at me because I am 44 years old. And in fact, my older friends, when I was turning 40, they said, oh, being over 40, it makes you invisible, right? And I have found, yes, that is true, but the brilliant thing is it mostly makes you invisible to dickheads. So it's not really a problem, it's a superpower, if anything. So I'm walking down the street. These two guys are leaning out of this van, and I see they're leching, but they're looking past me at a younger woman, a woman in her 20s, who is walking alongside me. And these guys do the classic thing. They lean out of the van, and they gave this woman a very detailed appraisal of her anatomy. You know, they covered all the main areas in bullet-pointed form, very thorough. And then they went on to suggest what I can only describe as a smorgasbord of activities they felt they would enjoy indulging in with her, were they not under pressure of time to get to the next plumbing job. So they did all this and they drove off. And naturally, I turned to this woman and I said, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? That was horrific." And she said, "No, I'm fine. It happens all the time." And I thought, yeah, it does when you're in your 20s, doesn't it? And we were chatting about how silly it was as we walked down the street. And then we got further down the road and the traffic had slowed down and this van had come to a stop. And I think a few years ago I would have just left it, said nothing. But this year I thought, you know what, if I'm going to be invisible, you know who else is invisible? Ninjas. I'm going to be a bloody middle-aged ninja. I'm going to strike, right? So I went up to the van and I just leaned in and I said, "Oh, hi, guys. Listen, sorry to bother you. I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you did back there, because my son here has been undergoing a very difficult gender reassignment." He's been worried that it's not going that well, but what you did back there really made him feel like a proper woman. Thank you. I was delighted with myself as well. But what was really special was that then the young woman next to me leaned in beside me and in the deepest voice I've ever heard just went, "Yeah, thanks, guys." It was a beautiful moment. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. The only thing that could have made it perfect would have been if the guys in the van had said, "Actually, if your child is undergoing a gender reassignment, it's incredibly insensitive of you still to be referring to her using the male pronoun." They didn't do that. They just called us slags.
This is nice, isn't it? Yes. Is anyone here in their 40s? Is it? You're not in your 40s? Have you guys started walking like this yet? It happens like clockwork, you know? It's mad. Like, I'll be walking around the co-op like I'm in an art gallery, just... Reduced by how much? Not enough. That and I've got a boner for linen. Ooh. In it. I literally go out shopping for fabric and I'm like, give me a fabric that will crease really easily. Yes. I want to iron it for at least an hour. That's for me. That and candles. Woo! Now listen, I used to party hard, and I found that burning your money via candles is a great replacement. When I say I like candles, yeah, I'm going diptyque, baby. Thank you. I'm going Joe Malone. Fig for me. Which also, like, I'm from a council estate. What does fig really smell like? Does anyone... I'm just going on what Joe Malone told me, you know what I mean? These candles are expensive. I reckon for a £5 I could probably buy 50 figs, chuck it in the oven and just waft it around the house a few times. The dream is, yeah, I want enough money that I can light a Joe Malone candle when it's just me in the house. Come with me, people. Can you imagine coming home to your yard, it's just you in, and you're like, you know what? Fig for me. As it is, if you was over my house and I had a candle on the go, no lie, after about 20 minutes, I'll start thinking that's about £17 worth of scent now. What kind of friend is he anyway? Is that enough? I realise there's nothing more insulting than someone lighting your scented candles when you're not there to enjoy the scent. Innit? I had my brother house sitting for me, right? I was away for a couple of weeks. I walked back into the house. As soon as I opened up the door, I was like... I walked into the front room. This guy is reclining on my sofa, lighting his spliff with my Joe Malone candle. The ash was falling into the wax. I was like, you all right? Yeah, you good? Now, we know as British people, when our voices go high like that, we mean the opposite, right? The higher our voices go, the less we're about it. You know what I mean? If someone's like, you coming to a party? You're like, yeah! What that means is, I'm not coming to your party, mate. So I said, you all right? What are you doing? He's like, oh, it's just a bit of mood lighting, isn't it? So, IKEA tea light is mood lighting. That's not even it. It was a 3-wick candle. Only 1 wick was lit. Thank you.
Tell me, does anyone here own a cat? Yeah. Your houses stink. Someone's got to tell them. Some people like cats, some people don't. I was reading the other day, apparently the Pope, he's a cataholic. Catholic. I've had an interesting job recently. I pretended to be a Spanish dentist. Thanks, that doesn't normally work. They said about me that I was too immature to be a father, but when I saw the first few seconds of my son's life, I thought to myself, he's naked. When my daughter was born, she had jaundice, so there she was, small, round, and yellow. We called her Melanie. My parents came up last weekend because I keep them in the cellar. That's not true. I don't know who they are. See, when I was young, I used to walk through the front door. I was hit by roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, opened the airing cupboard, spaghetti bolognese all over me. We literally didn't know where the next meal was coming from. My grandparents, their names are Pearl and Dean. Of course, we just know them as Gran and Grandpapa, Papa, 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 Papa. Any students here? Your houses stink. Someone's got to tell him. Don't talk to me about unemployment. I come from a tiny fishing village in Derbyshire. It's not near the sea.
Going away with my wife. She does this thing, right? If you get her in an airport, I'm not allowed to have my own passport. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm a 40-year-old man. I get to passport control. They say, you got your passport, mate? I'm like, no. I'm not allowed to carry it. Apparently, I'm not mature enough. I don't know what happens, man. The moment you get her near an airport, she becomes like some sort of Russian people trafficker. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I must have all the passports. You cannot handle passport. You are too stupid for passport. I must keep all passports in zippy clear travel document folder, alongside printout from TripAdvisor. But you may carry the bags. I'm like a peasant boy for the day. Oh, thank you, master. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a real honor for me to carry your bags, you know. 11 pair of shoes for 3-day mini break is a good idea. Yes. Maybe you will become a centipede while we are in Egypt. Who knows? I went on a stag do recently. I went to the Munich Beer Festival. Has anybody here been to the Munich Beer Fest? Seemingly everybody. How many days did you go for, mate? No days. Got deported on arrival. We went for 7 days. We got there on a Monday, right? We had 6 straight days drinking, Monday through Saturday. And on Sunday, we said, we've got to do something different, right? So we went to Dachau concentration camp. Yeah. It was a weird shout. There's no getting away from it. Could have gone go-karting. I said, no, let's do some World War II here. It took a long time to get there, and when we got there, it was shut. Now, yeah, it felt inconvenient. However, given the wider backdrop of historical suffering, I didn't necessarily think that my inconvenience was that big a deal, right? So I just thought I'll take it on the chin. But we had a mate of us called Tim, and Tim started popping off at the German security guard. He said, mate, it's a Sunday, yeah? It's a big tourist day. It's outrageous that it's shut. I said, to be fair, it's outrageous that it was ever open, you know what I mean? It's It is weird that you're making this about you, Tim, to be honest. People say dumb things, though, don't they? I was having a beer with my mate Wayne the other day, and Wayne likes to tell you where he was on the occasion of big historical news events that happen within our lifetime, right? So I mentioned 9/11, and Wayne went, 9/11, remember I was that day? I was like, don't care where you were. I don't see how it's relevant. I don't see how your whereabouts on that fateful, terrible day will form some sort of meaningful historical footnote, Wayne. I'm being honest here. He looked hurt. He went, I went, all right, where were you? He went, karate. I went, see, that's exactly the sort of trivial shit I was worried about, Wayne. He said, well, you know, I was in New York 6 months before that. Makes you think, doesn't it? I was like, no. No, to be honest, all it makes me think is I wish you'd been there 6 months later. Sorry.
Oh, we have a great show for you tonight. We have a fantastic show. Very funny comedians. I know funny. Very funny. People always ask me who I think is funny. That's the number 2 question I get asked as a comedian. The number 1 question I get asked as a comedian is, have you ever died? As soon as you tell someone you're a comedian, first thing they want to know, oh, you ever died? Oh, what's it like when no one laughs? Oh, tell us about the worst gig you've ever had in your life. Please, relive for me, in minute detail, the worst moment of your professional career. Have you ever really died? It's like saying to a doctor, tell us about the last patient you lost. What happened? With the family crying. I bet they were they? Yeah. People are such ghouls. It's the number 1 question. Have you ever died? Number 2 question, though, is what makes you laugh? People always want to know that from me. Who do you think is funny? And that's a nicer question. That's more understandable. You know, I make people laugh. People want to know what makes me laugh. In the same ways you might say to your hairdresser, who cuts your hair? Or you might say to someone in an Audi, who do you think drives like a cock? Same thing. I like that joke. It's a short joke, it's a sharp joke, and also with that joke, I get to spot every Audi driver in the room. I can just see it there. Pinched expression on your face there. All right, no need to be like that about it. I've done well for myself. It's a very reliable machine. And the fact that I can tell you're an Audi driver by the expression on your face means technically you've just given a form of indication. So well done. Good for you. We knew you could do it. Yeah. Have you ever died? Who do you think is funny? You always get asked the same questions. That's why I don't like doing interviews. I love doing this job. This is great. I love standing here talking to you, though. But doing interviews, it's a necessary evil. It's part of the job. I having to answer questions. And I don't even like watching interviews. You'd rather watch a comedian tell jokes than talk about how they wrote them. You'd rather watch a singer sing songs than talk about their inspiration. You'd rather watch a sports person do their sport. You'd certainly rather watch a sports person do their sport. Come on now. Sports interviews can be turgid affairs at best. And then I hit it with my foot. You mean you kicked it? If you like. They're really interesting. And I'm not slagging sports people. It takes a great deal of single-mindedness to excel at a sport to a point where people want to interview you about it. But sports people are famous because they're good at sport, not because they're good at talking about sport. That's why you find a sports person who is good at talking about sport, the BBC will cream their knickers over them. We found a woman. She used to ride horses. That's a sport. And she's quite lively and engaging and charismatic. Put her on absolutely everything! Do not let her out of your sight. Even people I'm a fan of. Andy Murray. I love Andy Murray. Britain should be very proud of Andy Murray. He's done a lot to be proud of. He's won Wimbledon. He's Olympic gold medalist. And he put up with a lot of shit when he was named, 8th best in the world? Oh, you bloody loser, you. He's done a lot to be proud of. He's won Wimbledon, he's Olympic gold medalist, he's magnanimous in victory, he's humble in defeat. And he's a big comedy fan. He's been to see me live, I've met him, lovely bloke. But Jesus Christ. I cannot listen to him drone on one more time about how he won, stroke lost another tennis match. I can't do it. Well, then I hit it to him, and he hit it back to me, and I'm very good at tennis, but he is also very good at tennis. Some days I'm better at tennis than he is, but I think what's happened today was he was slightly better at tennis than I am, and that's maybe why he won the game of the tennis. Oh, for God's sake, man! I'm not very sporty, you can probably tell. I like hill walking. Doesn't really count as a sport. I like hill walking and camping. Proper camping, though. None of your glamping bullshit. Glamping. Derivation of the words glamorous and camping, where you stay in a yurt, which is more expensive than a hotel. What is wrong with you? A lot of people don't realise yurt is a derivation of the words eura and twat. A lot of people don't realise that.
When a man... So this bloke said to me, he said, Tim, did you know Marie Osmond is about to appear in the world's worst film? I said, Warner Brothers. He said, I already have. So I went to the record shop. I said, what have you got by the doors? He said, a bucket of sand and a fire blanket. I said, can you recommend some music for a kid's party? He said, Small Faces. I said, of course they have, the kids. My mum and dad are complete opposites. You couldn't hope to meet two such totally different blokes. My local police chief does a talk on heroin, so you can't understand any of it. Tequila, schnapps, sambuca. I'm calling the shots. So I went to Alcoholics Anonymous. I said, I can't stop gambling. He said, you want Gamblers Anonymous? I said, you're probably right, I'm so drunk, I know where I am. I saw this sign, it said hairdressing for men. I walked in, there was a rabbit trying on clothes, and all these blokes going, yeah, very nice. So I went to the cinema, I saw a very sad film, and the bloke behind me suddenly started wailing. I got hit in the back of the head with the harpoon. But you know, I love reading. At the moment, I'm reading My Life by Bill Clinton, which freaked me out because I didn't know he knew anything about my life. And this bloke said to me, he said, I've got bubonic plague. I said, don't give me that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you with this. Well, I didn't bring it with me. Today I had dinner with my boss and his wife, and it was a complete disaster. My boss's wife said to me, she said, Tim, how many potatoes would you like? I said, I'll just have one. She says, all right, you don't have to be polite. I said, all right then, I'll just have one, you stupid cow. Thank you very much, good night, God bless.
I've got the memory of an elephant. I remember one time I went to the zoo and saw an elephant. I I was disappointed to find that Dunkirk wasn't actually a biography of William Shatner. I accidentally kicked my dog early and it bit me on the bollocks. My mate said it's karma. I said, no, if anything, it's even more angry. I tell you what always catches my eye, short people with umbrellas. I put on a lot of weight, so I rang up Weight Watchers. I said, it's an emergency, can you send somebody round? And they said, yes, we can, we got loads of them. I was actually thrown out of Weight Watchers for making sarcastic comments at the weekly weigh-in. As you can imagine, I accepted the decision with huge grace, because they threw her out as well. I was watching TV, the announcer said there's a documentary about the clitoris on the red button, but I couldn't find it. I was in a fancy lingerie shop. I said, are these knickers satin? He said, no, they're new. I didn't know what to get my little niece for Christmas, so I asked my sister what she's into. Apparently, at the moment, she's mad about frozen stuff, so I got her some oven chips and peas. It's been a tough week. I got myself a memory foam mattress, and now it's trying to blackmail me. As a child, I was made to walk the plank. We couldn't afford a dog. I went on a positive thinking course. It was shit. You would be. And it was half empty. The area in a Nando's between the front and back door is called a peri-perineum. What I like most about that joke is that people who know what a perineum is usually haven't heard of Nando's. Ironically, there's only a very small overlap between the two. The doctor told me to lose some weight. I said, how? He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, what, pies, chips, that sort of thing? He said, no, just don't eat anything fatty. Old lady names are very much back in fashion at the minute, like Lily or Elsie or Rose, and we wanted something like that for our daughter, but we couldn't decide, so in the end we just called her Nan. So we shall grow into it.
I need to grow up. Thank you, mate. I don't know what's wrong with me. I still think I'm 18. My brain stopped developing at 18. My body has just continued to slowly rot. My brain went, that's me. I'm going to stay put, 18, that'll do me. My body did not have that luxury. That has continued to slowly rot and decay. And what will happen in this situation? Your brain will start saying yes to stuff that your body can no longer cope with. For example, a couple of years ago, I went to see the Stone Roses at Wembley. Now, yeah, little whoop over there. I tell you, I felt like whooping when I was invited. I tell you when I didn't feel like whooping, mate, when I'd been there for about 3 minutes. Because when you're in your 40s, that's not a party anymore, that's an ordeal. Hottest day of the year it was, 32 degrees. I'd spent 10 hours stood up in the blistering sunshine. My back was killing me, my balls were sweating. I took no sun cream, I burnt my forehead, my chin and my eyelids. I looked ridiculous. 4 flights of stairs, up and down to the nearest bar, to keep walking up and down to get beer. I tell you what, it's very difficult to convince yourself you're still 18 when the new trousers you're wearing are giving you a blister on the underside of your belly. I didn't even know that existed in my teens, did you? A belly blister? I didn't even know that happened. I knew I'd messed up. As soon as I got into Wembley Stadium on that fateful day, I knew the whole thing had been a terrible, terrible error, because it was all guys my age. Yeah. 40s and 50s, all wearing the same clothes that we used to wear back in the day. Parker jackets, gazelles, bucket hats, mad for it, man, yeah. It didn't look like a gig, it looked like a historical reenactment. The Battle of Britpop, 1996. And it won't stop me going, because this is a hit of nostalgia for me when I go and see these bands. These are anthems from my youth. You know, Step On, Happy Mondays, You're Twisting Me Melon, man. Loaded by Primal Scream, probably the biggest one for me. An absolute classic from my youth. You know that one? Oh, what a tune. Just what is it that you want to do? We want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. We want to get loaded. We want to have a good time. Oh, man, yes, that is exactly how I used to feel when I heard that song. I tell you, they played that at Wembley just before the Stone Roses came on. Comes over to Tannoy, he goes, just what is it that you want to do? I thought, I just want to go home, mate.
And when I go back to America, man, we're not good at taking the piss out of ourselves. We're a younger country. We haven't learned that skill yet. That's a very advanced thing y'all do. We ain't worked that out yet. You know, in America, we used to feeling one emotion at a time, you know? And just, you know, we get mixed up like that. It's just, in America, too, we love catchphrases. We love slogans. We love stuff like that. And we found a way for justification to sound like empowerment. That's right. We have phrases like, be true to yourself, follow your heart, follow your dream. There was a movie a few years ago called Batman Begins, and it had one of them catchphrases, and Americans loved it. To conquer fear, you must become fear. Well, how the hell you do that? And it's just a way for Batman to justify being violent. I can take that same phrase and justify whatever I want. If I gain too much weight, I can justify it by going, to conquer fat, you must become fat. Man, I saw a politician on the news today, MP, talking about it'll be good if Tony Blair becomes president of the European Union because a Brit will be in there. And how dare anybody in Britain go against that? Well, how about the best man for the job? How about that? How about that? And like, I know that kind of thinking because I grew up with that. I was always taught that I had to support every black person no matter what they did. So that meant I tried for years really hard to support Don King and Robert Mugabe. And it's hard. It's hard. I tried. I swear to God, I tried, man. A few years ago, I was watching Wimbledon and Serena Williams playing. And I'm not a fan, but I admire her game. She got a strong game, and not just the physical, but the psychological. Every time she hits the ball, right, she makes this grunt. It's like this, and that's a hell of a psych job to do on your opponent. Every time you hit the ball, you release this guttural grunt that's like, It's like what you're saying is, with every fiber of my being, I'm trying to kill you. Imagine playing somebody in checkers like that. A couple of years ago, I was watching Serena Williams play, and I was with one of my buddies, black dude, and she was doing the whole, and he leans over and he says, you know that grunt she does? I said, yeah. What she's actually doing is releasing 200 years of black American anger. For real? He said, black American anger is one of the most potent angers in the world. And that's why she hits the ball so hard, and that's why she be whooping them white girls like that. I was like, oh, okay. So a couple of weeks later, after this Russian girl beat her, I couldn't help but mess with my friend a little bit. I was like, wow, 200 years of black American anger don't seem to have nothing on 70 years of frustration with communism, does it? Black American anger. Try a childhood with no toilet paper.
American consumerism is based on just taking out late-night ads and pretending that you're mentally deficient. Just screaming at the top of your voice. Come on down to Wally's World of Mortgages. That's right, we've got mortgages. I'm crazy. The boss left with the keys. I'm by the safe. I don't even work here. We're going to give you a mortgage. Even if you've never heard of the word mortgage, come on down here, we're going to give you one. Can't pay us back? Won't pay us back? We don't give a shit. Even if you're a trailer park crack whore popping babies out of your womb like self-rising biscuits, come on down here now. You're a homeowner. People, let's go take advantage of that guy. He seems nuts. It's the Ab Crunch Spectacular, whole infomercial devoted to the biggest piece of shit ever perpetrated on the public. It's the Ab Crunch Spectacular. You can have a washboard stomach in 12. Who needs a washboard stomach? Gonna play hillbilly bluegrass music right off your stomach? It's shit! Hi, I'm Chuck Norris. I used to pummel vaguely Middle Eastern-looking guys for a living. Now I'm selling this piece of shit Velcro nailed to an old ski. Flip it over, it's a canoe. Turn it inside out, it's a lady's evening dress. It's shit! You can have it by tomorrow. Of course you can, because it's a big piece of shit. That's what we do in America. We make lots of crap, but we deliver it really, really fast. Good things come to those who wait, but shit pretty much shows up right away, doesn't it? Pick up the phone. I like the Ab Crunch. Bing bong. That was fast. Wacka, 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 wacka. I'd love to tell you things are better in America, ladies and gentlemen, but, you know, I don't really know. It's, we have a fantastic president, but most Americans just want to see his birth certificate. Show us your birth certificate, Obama. Because, you know, I know there was I watched the elections here, and I kind of watched them. I kept an eye on them. I didn't get the full brunt of it. Basically, I left the country for a while. Gordon Brown was in charge. I came back. Now, apparently, the country's being led by 2 gay antiques dealers. I don't know how that happened. But at least they're getting along. As Americans, let me explain it to you. There's 2 parties in America. You probably know this. There's Republicans and Democrats. The Republicans are called the red states. Democrats are the blue states. The blue states are generally either on the West Coast or on the Atlantic seaboard. So basically, Democrat is anyone who's seen water. If you go to America, find a Republican and take him to the beach. And even the Republicans hate each other now. So they have a splinter group called the Teabaggers, the Tea Party, Teabaggers, whose leader, of course, is Sarah Palin, future presidential candidate, who spent 2 years governing 8,000 square miles of snow and would occasionally nip out at lunch to blow the head off a moose from 300 yards away. That's presidential material. Another woman who's moved to the forefront, running for a senator from Delaware named Christine O'Donnell, who's running on a platform of anti-masturbation. She actually wants to make masturbation illegal. I give that law 6 minutes. Because the Bible says it's wrong. These are her exact words. Well, if my husband has figured out how to please himself, why am I in the picture? I got news for you. You're not. No man ever whacked one out of the ballpark thinking of his wife, ladies and gentlemen. You'd be thinking of anything. You'd be thinking of a 300-pound Bavarian milkmaid strapped over a barrel, or you bang her with a kayak paddle wearing a Burger King paper crown and making her call you Mr. King Big Daddy Spanky Bottom. As you're about to shoot a ropey parabola of man jizz onto her ham hock buttocks, David Hasselhoff walks in dressed as a Luftwaffe pilot and says you've got a tax refund coming. And if that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
Last time I did a gig in London, right, how great a heckle is this? This bloke went, "Oi, Howard! Would you shag your dad to save your mum?" Right? He was so aggressive, it was like it wasn't hypothetical. Like my mum was in a van and my dad was in a harness, you know? What would you do? I panicked and went, "I think I'd shag my dad." And this bloke went, "Oh, tell him then. He worked with my dad." Now, I don't know if you've ever had a phone call that chilling. "All right, son, what's all this about you wanting to bum me?" "Dad, you don't understand. They were going to kidnap Mum." "Well, that changes things, son. Before you start, you best knock me out. You don't want tips on how to bum your dad? Treat me right, son. Run me a bath. Put Radox in it. I'm not your bitch. All right, Dad, I've got to go. Lift my hips up." Weird moment, you know? Dads. I can't wait to be a dad. Obviously, I'm not ready. I'm still afraid of the dark. I think that's fairly crucial. Dad, can you get my coat? I don't think so, son. It's in the cupboard, and that is where the goblins live. You won't trick me. I'm so wise. Such a child, you know? So, you know that feeling when you're near a wardrobe? There's always part of you going, come on, this time. Narnia. It never happens, but... I bet that's an hour of fun at MFI. Just no. I'll give anyone in this room 200 quid if they go to IKEA tomorrow dressed as a lion and hide in a cupboard. That's... Been travelling all over the place. It's been great. I've been on tour, right? I've seen some really weird things, right? I was in a sandwich shop the other day. Do you ever see a sign that really annoys you? There was this big sign that said, hey, why not try a guilt-free wrap? Like, what? Don't make sandwiches evil. How ridiculous is that? Sandwiches are lovely. The bacon sandwich is one of the greatest things in the world. It tastes lovely, and conceptually, it's a wonderful thing. A bacon sandwich is essentially bread giving a dead pig a cuddle. It's a lovely thing. I love you, Mr. Pig. Why do the Jews hate me? It's lovely, right? And there was a sign... Joke. And there was a sign... There was a sign next to it that said, you may have cancer. Now I'm fat and I'm gonna die, right? I was in a really bad mood, and then madness occurred. From nowhere, bloke in the counter, behind the counter, yawned. This bloke... his finger in his mouth and went, ooh, yawn rape, and I nearly died. Now, I've never seen a yawn rape before. I was like, oh, you've just been a yawn rape. Did the man headbutt him? No, he didn't. He giggled and went, it's a good job I didn't fart, wasn't it? And you sat there, you know that proper huge belly laugh? They're great when they happen. I remember the first time I properly went, Bruh! My friend Tom, age 5, stood up in the middle of a nativity play and went, well, enough's enough. Heroic. But what made it even more heroic, he was the front end of a donkey. That's incredible, right? They're brilliant, aren't they, belly laughs, aren't they? When they leap out from nowhere. I could watch drunk people for hours. Don't you love it? You know when people are mischief pissed? You know? When they put like a bollard or a cone on top of a bus stop? How fantastic's that? I'm pissed. Fighting, nightclub, women. Nope, that bus stop needs a hat. He looks like a wizard, Dave. I've done it. 5 points to Gryffindor.
Don't get me wrong, you know, I'm moaning about Twitter. I'm not one of those people who's, you know, technophobic. I hate technology. I mean, for example, I think Skype is brilliant, isn't it? Skype. It's fantastic, Skype. Oh, it's never been cheered before, but when I first saw it written down, I didn't realise that was how you pronounced it. I thought it was Sky PE. Like a shit version of Sky Sports. People standing around their vests and pants doing knee bends like that. Sky PE with Mr. Worthington. I need to get a new computer, actually, because my middle daughter, recently, what she did was, she poured Ribena in the computer, which is pretty much the worst place you can put Ribena, isn't it? Other than in Paul Gascoigne's glass. What is this shit? And she poured it in the computer, and obviously I was really annoyed, I was really angry, but I thought, don't get angry, don't get angry. Don't get angry, get even. So what I did was, I put vodka in a hamster's water bottle. And now he's had to go away to the repairman too. I've got new glasses as well, yeah, went to Specsavers. Oh. Wasn't my idea, someone suggested it to me. Yeah, I thought it was very rude of the guy since I'd just fallen in the river. You've got Specsavers, mate. You don't even know if I can swim. Because that's how I swim, sort of camp and upright. But I love wearing glasses, I do, I love wearing glasses. What I like about it is any time I want, I can do this, right? And the world's a completely different place.
It's sort of fuzzy, soft-focus, dreamy landscape. Well, nothing really bad can happen. Now, normal people have to take drugs to feel like this. With my glasses off, I'll drive through gaps I wouldn't dream of with them on. If I've got to reverse a caravan over a humpback bridge onto a rusting ferry, the first thing I'll think is, we won't be needing these, will we? And people say to me, why don't you get that laser operation on the eyes? And I don't want to do that for two reasons. Firstly, I know that out there somewhere is an eye surgeon who's like me. Bit slapdash. A bit of a bodger, managed to wing his way through the exams, kept his head down, and now he's got a laser beam trained on my eye. Do you reckon that's enough? Do you reckon? Yeah, a bit more, Connor. Oh, shit, that is too much, isn't it? That's... Woo. Tell you what, when he wakes up, tell him it's free. But also, apparently, when you have that operation, you can smell your own eye burning. I've never liked that smell. But it's fine when I take my glasses off. There's any glasses, a lady there wears glasses. Do you have this? You know when people ask you to try your glasses on, right? They never wait to be handed them, do they? Yeah, they do. They just take them off. They just literally... People come up to you and say, can I try your glasses on? Then they just take them off your face. It's so rude. I think, oh, thanks very much, I'm blind. Nice one. But then, make it worse, then they put them on like that and they go, bloody hell, how'd you see through this? Just laugh in your face like, ha 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 ha! You're blind, aren't you? Ha 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 ha! It's so rude, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't got someone in a wheelchair and go, let's have a go in that, mate.
But here's the thing about being married a very long time. You get to know each other so well, right? I mean, my husband knows me well. I know my husband so well at this point that we can have a full-blown argument from start to finish, and he's not even home. You know? So, this year, I have been married 21 years. Thank you. Thank you. I know it looks like I could have been a child bride, which, where I'm from, totally possible. Anyway, I wasn't a child bride. Anyway, so 21 years. And here's what I've learned in 21 years. That to stay married and stay happy, because it's not naturally the same thing, to stay married and stay happy, what you must do is keep your focus on what is important. Keep your focus on what is important. Let everything else fall away. See, I'll explain. The other day, my husband and I were having an argument, a face-to-face one, the one where he's actually at home. So we're having an argument, and, well, I mean, I say argument. The fact is, after 21 years, my husband and I don't really have arguments. We have throwdowns. You know, throwdown, like MMA level. Do you know what MMA is, sir? Yeah, marriage martial arts. Proper MMA, no matter what the topic, my husband and I both always bring it for everything. Because we know that after 21 years and 3 kids, nobody is fucking going anywhere. Right? We are just trying to get to the end of this somehow. And also, you should know, like I told you, when I arrived here, I got a UK passport. My husband is Scandinavian. He didn't bother. And then we were having this argument, and he was like, I don't understand why you didn't do it this way. And I said, really, what I don't understand is why you don't fuck off back where you came from. Apollo, I cannot lie to you, it felt pretty good. Oh my God, what a great phrase. I am totally on board with it now. Knock yourselves out. Such a good feeling it gives you afterwards, you know? The problem was it bothered our children a little bit because we were having lunch. It was Sunday. Our youngest child, she said, oh no, Mama said the F word. And I said, oh darling, you're right, I did. But you know what? When you grow up and meet the man of your dreams, so will you. And then my teenage son said something, but let me explain, ladies and gentlemen. Between 45 to 85% of what this child says, I don't understand. Because he's a teenager. He just looked at me and said, why so salty, bro? And then our middle child, apart from being somewhat fractured, she's also very woke. By which I mean she doesn't understand the difference between racism and a joke about racism. So she got very upset and she said, you can't say that to Dad, that's racist. I said, racist? Look at my face. I can't be racist. Everybody knows only white people are racist. Oh, she got angry. She stomped out of the room. And I was like, oh, come on, darling. Sorry, it was a joke. I know, you're half white. Oops.
Don't you think it's crazy that, do you understand the technology for us to hear the pilot? I am actually utilizing it right now. This is the technology for us to hear the pilot. I don't know why we cannot hear. There's no other context where it's acceptable for us not to hear a person. Why are you muffling? If you were looking for an au pair for your kids and a person came over to your house and said, hey man, what's your experience with kids? And then they looked at you and went, ta-da. Like, you need to get out of my house, son. Weird things happen in airplanes. Weird things, like crazy things, bizarre things. Like, how bizarre would it be right now if someone walked in here and started selling us watches and perfume? Wouldn't that be the most bizarre thing? But it happens all the time in airplanes. No one's ever gone, huh, this is crazy. This is an English polite thing. Oh, I've already got one, yeah. I'm not looking at the moment, yeah. Not every airline should be selling watches, though. Like Ryanair, no business selling watches. You need the watch, Ryanair. Your flight's 7 hours late. And also, why am I buying a 400-pound watch on an 11-pound flight? This makes no sense. Yeah, being in London is cool. I like being in London. One of my favorite things to be in London, there's so much to do. I try to buy a ticket online to watch Wimbledon. Yeah, man. The Wimbledon final, I was like, I'm excited. Went online, it was £3,000. I was like, what? £3,000. Okay, I'm not saying I wouldn't pay £3,000, right? I'm not saying I wouldn't pay £3,000 for a Champions League finals ticket. But I'm not paying £3,000 for a sport where someone is going to tell me, quiet, please. Are you out of your mind? For £3,000, there will be no quiet, please. For £3,000, I'm rubbing my nipples center court. Are you out of your mind? My brother, 3,000. Oh, it's a lot of money. 3,000. My brother, £3,000. For £3,000, I should be able to whisper some advice in Roger Federer's ear. 3,000. I should be able to walk into the court. Sorry, Roger. Come on, forearm. Let's work on that. Come on. My brother, around 3,000. For 3,000, I should be able to punch a ball boy in the face. For 3,000. Could be walking across, picking up a ball up. bark at him in the nose. He's so confused. What was that for? I'm like, no, it's part of the package. If you look carefully, I can kick you in the balls.
I used to be not exactly ashamed of my blackness, but I never wanted to do anything that could be seen as stereotypically black, and it followed me all my life. So when I was younger, when I was at school, if I was ever in PE and a basketball would come flying at top speed towards my face, instead of catching that basketball in the air, dribbling it towards the nearest net and slam dunking the thing, as I naturally would, I just let it hit me in the face and roll away. When I got older, I made a lot of friends, mainly white friends, and we started going to the club. Are you familiar with the club? Not the club, the club. At the end of the street. Whenever I went to the club and I was dancing with a group of friends, I would deliberately dance less well on purpose. So that the white people wouldn't be intimidated. There'd always be one other black person in the corner of the room, arms folded, looking at me like, you're disrespecting yourself. When meanwhile, I'll be in the middle of the dance floor just moving like Miley Cyrus. I tried so hard. I tried so hard to pass as white. I did all the white things. I bought pesto. I said tissue. And I got really dangerously into Jamie T. I am talking about the era of Jamie T, Pete Doherty, Jack Pignati, Jedward. I spent my late teens, arguably the sexiest part of one's teens, just sort of lusting over these gurning predators. Like, imagine more me, you'll be at a house party with an edgy white boy and he'd have the whole edgy boy starter kit. He'd have the skinny jeans, roly fag, unacceptable BO. He'd be talking always about one of his two favourite subjects, which is always either dubstep or himself. And you're sitting on the windowsill and finally you pluck up the courage to just cut him off mid-anecdote, put your hand on his shoulder, look him in the eye and be like, mate, I love you. And then he'd look at you, and you'd look at him, and you'd lean in for a kiss, and then he'd just sort of thumb MDMA into your mouth. And when that was it, you were like, wow! I think he really likes me. Oh my God, white guys. I spent half my life lusting after unsuitable white guys. Have we got any white guys in? Come on, guys, cheer louder. We know how much you get paid. Because you are everywhere. You're in the White House, you're in the big banks, you're in all the fancy court cases, you're killing it. Sometimes literally. But I don't want anyone to think I'm having a go because I genuinely adore white guys. Love your work. Ed Sheeran, amazing. I haven't got anything against white men apart from, obviously, everything it is that they've done. Some of my best friends. Some of my best friends are white men. My mother is a white man.
It was actually quite romantic how me and my boyfriend met. It was through a friend in a park. And it wasn't on Grindr though, because that's usually how. Because like straight people, you've got Tinder, and Grindr is like Tinder, except it tells you how far gay people are away from you in feet. It's like, why would you ever need to know on your phone how far a gay person is away from you in feet, like some kind of sat-nav to find them? If anything, Grindr should be for homophobes. If you're terrified of gay people, that's a handy application to have on your phone. Just walking down the road going, oh, Jesus, I'm not going that way now. Oh, my God, I'm surrounded. How'd you get out of this church? Thank you very much. Did you have the thing, by the way? Did you have the thing of during lockdown, your brain would be remembering cringy stories from your past that you'd forgot about happening, but for some reason, your brain was like a sibling waking you up at 4 o'clock in the morning going, oh, I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to sleep, but do you remember when you shot yourself? I'll be back in an hour with another one. Because some of the date stories I was remembering, I was like, oh no, that was horrendous. I can't believe I did that. Because on dates, I would get so nervous that I would do stupid voices to try and make them laugh, which is cute, but not sexy in the slightest. Nobody's ever gone, I didn't find him attractive, and I thought, no, I'm not going to go back to his. But then he did Kermit the Frog, and immediately I was turned on.
You want to come back to my house with Kermit? It'd be really hot.
And on a date, a guy told me he was a massive Lord of the Rings fan. And when he told me that, I thought, I'll save Gollum for dessert. And when he said to me, Larry, I've got to go and get my taxi, it took me by surprise. And instead of going, oh, before you go, I've got this wee Gollum impression you might enjoy, instead I panicked, dropped my cutlery and grabbed his hand and led him out of the restaurant as Gollum. So the last thing he can remember of me, and everyone else in the restaurant can remember of me, is me going, come with me, master. Stupid fat Hobby needs to go and get a taxi. Oh no, we don't master to leave us. Precious master, don't abandon your Smeagol. And halfway through doing it, I became more self-aware. And I looked up at him and I thought, he's not finding this funny at all. But I thought, it's going to be weirder if I stop halfway through. Because if anything, that's more creepy, going, master, please don't leave me, no. Nice meeting you, man. Let's do this again sometime. Thank you so much.
I was in France a couple of years ago. Had to stop to use the loo at a little service station by the road. I knew it wasn't going to be a 5-star experience from the moment I walked in there. The lady in the kiosk was eating a pig's trotter with the one remaining tooth. Watching a chipmunk try to eat a piece of corn on the cob. I approached her, and of course, as a proud Remainer, I said to her in my best French, Où est le bug? She went, it's round the back. It is round the back. So I went round the back, and there it was, a little shed. I thought, here we go. And I opened the door. Voila! Squatty potty! Throw up, France! Anyway, there was nowhere else to go, so I had to go in. I had to use it. So I went in and I closed the door, and it was brilliant because somebody had attached a rope to the back of the door. So you could essentially abseil down into the squatting pool. I mean, that is a Centre Parks activity right there, isn't it? You'd pay for that. Bungee jump, brilliant. I did notice I was getting a little bit more nervous as a traveller on recent flights I've taken. In your 20s, you don't care, do you? Like that, I'll live forever, me. I'm going to live forever. As you get older, you start to really pay attention to the safety announcements on planes. It becomes more urgent. You're more aware of your own mortality. You know, they'll start the announcement. I will definitely pay attention, absolutely pay attention. The glasses go on, the headphones come off. Book goes down, notebook comes up. Right now. Last flight I was on, it got to that point, we've all heard it 1,000 times. We've all heard it 1,000 times. They put the little life jacket on, right? Put the little life jacket on, and she said, and of course, in the event of landing on water, there is a whistle to attract attention. In the event of landing on water, there is a whistle. A whistle to attract attention. Now, I think for the first time in my life, I really took in that whistle. The fabric of that whistle, if you will, the being of that whistle, the ergonomics of that whistle. There is a whistle to attract attention. My brain had the very helpful thought. It thought, well, if we have landed on water, we have essentially fallen out of the sky from 30 to 40,000 feet in a not insignificant metal tube that may or may not be on fire. If that hasn't attracted attention, in the surrounding area has managed not to notice, and you are then reliant on... I got this.
So you mightn't be able to tell this to look at me, by the way, but you are looking at a recent Euro Millions winner. £2.80. It's a cheek, innit? It's a cheek, it's a disgrace, it's a scandal. £2.80 on the Euro Millions. 30p. More than what it cost me to play the game in the first place. I play the Euro Millions online because I'm rubbish with bits of paper, right? But basically, it's me plan on one day, this is how I'm going to buy a house, right? I'll wake up, I'll have that magical little email, I'll be able to buy a house, because we still live in a rented flat, me and my wife, my daughter. I can't get a mortgage, I am so self-employed. Every year I make the same mistakes. I submit as many expenses as I can for the year, reduce my taxable income down as low as possible. Every year I pay as little tax as I can legally get away with paying legally. And then it gets to the point where I try and apply for a mortgage and they're just like, but how do you even eat? And we've ran your figures through the computer, sir, and you're not even coming back as a real person. It's saying you've got the economy of a small African village with no water supply in the early 80s. It's suggesting we put a concert on for you. That's what it's saying. According to HM Revenue and Customs, I am keeping a family of 3 alive on £8.50 a year. So I play the Euro Millions online. Does anyone else play the Euro Millions online? Yeah, you'll know. You will know. Doesn't matter how little you win. They've only got one email. They send the same email to everyone regardless. They haven't got the decency. They haven't got the good grace to just tell you in the email, just to let you know you've won £2.80, you loser. No, they like to build up the hope. You're a winner! Log in now, they tell you. Log in, we can't possibly tell you what the news is in the email. If this information should fall into the wrong hands, your life might very well be in danger. Log in now, we've got investment experts standing by who can advise you on what to do with your £2.80. You can have it in one lump sum payment, or you could choose to have it in instalments of 14p a year over 20 years. And I get it, but it's data protection. I get they can't put the thing in the email. Just have 2 emails, that's all I'm saying. Have a second email for people like me. You're a winner, but don't build your hopes up. Picking any houses, but do decide what your favourite flavour of crisps is. Somebody's getting a multi-pack. This is why I hate it. Because every time I have to log in to find out the pittance that I've won. I think added security on the National Lottery website. Username, password, Mac keychain, Bing, that goes in, not a problem. But then every time it's like I've never visited it before. Every time I have to do the robot thing with the
road signs, it's often on the... I can't do the thing, can I? I have to click the button underneath. Give me an audio challenge. Type the words into the box that you hear in the following sentence. Our computer says, Saragaraga. Let's give them road signs a go. I'll take me chances. Our computer says, Saragaraga. It's like they've hired stroke victims to read foreign words.
So she did that for 10 minutes, non-stop, speaking tongues over me. And then her bus stop came. So she rang the bell to get off, which is the most fucked up part of the story. Because if you think about it, this lady believes, she truly believes she has the power, the cosmic power to cast demons out of me. She believes that. But she also believes her bus stop is more important. She laughed and I just shouted, "Come back! You're not done yet!" The man behind me shouted, "Yeah, and I almost came."